This is a real bold piece from Omoda and happens to be a real joy to live and drive with. Launched in late 2025, this is the C9 SHS and happens to be not just the flagship SUV from Omoda, but also its first entry into the hybrid plug-in market. Raise your hand if you said you'd never get an EV or hybrid, but after this month and the petrol price hikes, this is making a lot more sense for South Africans. Okay, let's talk numbers. With over 1,000 kilometers of range. See, I got your attention now, didn't I? With 440 kilowatts of power, 950 Newton meters of torque combined, and just over 1,000 units sold in 2026 alone. That's a lot of good numbers. But numbers are numbers. Let's see why the C9 is the hybrid for you. Starting with the powertrain, the Omoda C9 SHS combines a 1.5 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with a hybrid system consisting of a massive 34 kWh battery pack and 3 electric motors. There's a motor for each front wheel and a third powering the rear axle, making the C9 SHS an all-wheel drive SUV. All of this is managed through a 3-speed hybrid transmission. Omoda does a few things right, and styling happens to be one of them, as evident by the C9 here. As far as SUVs go, this happens to be one of my favorite looking ones. Up front, the C9 features Omoda's iconic frameless diamond grille, contoured by LED light bar and headlights, shaped by ultra slim LED DRLs, all positioned above an aggressive bumper design. The side profile showcases the C9's glamorous refinement. Elegant 20-inch two-tone wheels start the profile strongly, housed within pronounced wheel arches. Strong character lines along the doors and side skirts run the length of the vehicle towards a sleek coupe-style rear design. Flush pop-out door handles, a floating roof design, and blacked-out pillars all contribute to the C9's smooth, minimalist surface. The long wheelbase gives the C9 proper premium SUV proportions, but we'll see if that translates into interior space when we step inside. Other elements to the side include the large mirrors, trim pieces, petrol and charging ports. The standout feature on the back is the full-width LED light bar with tail light signature and sequential indicators. The lights are housed in a sculpted design, but have a look at this, an integrated roof spoiler with some additional brake lights, very sporty. Speaking of such, the rear does have a lot of sport-like qualities with an aggressive diffuser, sharp shoulder lines, and clean tailgate layout with some decent badging. Let's shift things a little. 26 Rand per litre. Wild, right? And with things looking the way they do, it might get higher. So, is a hybrid worth it now? A large SUV like the C9 will set you back just over 1,800 Rand for a full tank, and based on claims of 6.9 litres per 100 Ks, you'd get just over 1,000 kilometers of range. But that's the stat on paper. Range is very subjective, so let's focus on the money. Now, that 34 kWh battery in the C9 will give you 150 kilometers of range. For free? Unfortunately not. Now, to charge the battery, you have two ways, and costing two different pricings. Either charge at home or charge at a station. A public fast charger will cost you around 280 Rand for a full charge and could have a minimum charge time of 30 minutes, enough to do some breakfast or some shopping, with cheaper but longer options available. Now, home charging will cost you around 120 Rand for a full charge and will take a minimum of around 5 to 6 hours. Now, we all live pretty different lives, and honestly, that's where the flexibility of a hybrid starts making sense. For me, a lot of my driving is city-based. Shops, gym, traffic, picking up people. In all those situations, the C9 hybrid relies heavily on the battery power. That means lower fuel consumption and lower running costs. Considering a full home charge could cost around 120 Rand compared to roughly 1,800 Rand, hybrid starts becoming very interesting. But then when I hit longer roads and spend more time on the highways, the hybrid system seamlessly switches between the electric and petrol power to maximize efficiency and range. And honestly, I think that's what makes plug-in hybrids so appealing for South Africa. You get the smoothness and low running costs of EV driving while still keeping the flexibility and range of a petrol car. It seems that the C9 might just be a fit for just about anybody, but being the gold standard for Omoda, let's see what the interior actually looks like. The entire cabin of the C9 is bold, luxurious, comfortable, all the fine words to describe a flagship SUV. Premium Napa leather seats in the front and back, ambient lighting throughout the cabin, soft touch materials, and a number of textures are used to give the C9 its refined interior styling. The front of the cabin sets the C9 a level apart from the rest of the Omoda range with a stunning layout. The leather-wrapped flat bottom steering wheel feels premium and grippy, with heating that's perfect for the cold weather. The controls are shared with the lower models, which feels a little less special, but they still work pretty well. The star of the cabin is the curved dual 12.3-inch screen layout, which completely changed the atmosphere for the front passengers. One screen for your infotainment, one for your digital instrument cluster. The rest of the dashboard is pretty clean, consisting of slim aircon vents and trim, followed by a cluster of control dials with a metallic finish that controls a number of functions from drive modes to aircon controls. Just below that you have dual phone trays, one with a fast wireless charger. The center console is large with ample storage options, including an armrest box that links up to the aircon. Like the C9 is looking like a perfect fit for just about anybody, being the gold standard set by Omoda. But you know me, I love my tech, so let's check out what it has. The C9 is packed with tech, but importantly it feels meaningful. Starting with the screens, they're incredibly crisp, responsive, and genuinely high quality. The infotainment system also supports wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. You also get a 50-watt wireless phone charger for fast charging on the move. Ahead of the driver sits a clean and easy to read heads-up display. For audio, the C9 features a 12-speaker Sony sound system, including speakers integrated into the driver headrest for clearer phone calls and navigation prompts. The C9 also features a 540-degree camera system with transparent under-bottom view. The seats are both heated and ventilated, not just for the front passengers, but also for those in the rear. And that's not all. Every seat in the C9 is electronically adjustable. Up front, the driver gets 6-way electronic adjustment with lumbar support, only 4-way for the front passenger, while the rear passengers can only recline their seats. The driver's seat also includes a memory function. For climate control, you get 3-zone climate control with auto and syncing for the front passengers. And beyond the LED lighting signatures, the C9 also features a welcome home projection lighting, activated through the keyless entry and exit system. The panoramic sunroof and power tailgate wrap the C9 in a genuinely premium tech-rich package. Alright, looks great, has some fun things to play with, just like your mum, but how does the C9 drive? I know, late in the review to bring up your mum, but better late than never. Okay, starting with the power, 440 kilowatts, and that is definitely used and felt in the C9. It's thanks to a lot of the hybrid technology, but it's so much fun to drive. The C9 is fast, responsive, and that's partly thanks to the electric capabilities from the electric motors. You can feel that instant acceleration when you put your foot down. Like I mentioned, there are 3 electric motors on the C9, one for each of the front wheels and one dedicated to the rear axle. Now, the electric torque is instantly felt and makes the C9 very quick off the line, but it also happens to make what would be quite a heavy SUV feel very nimble and agile. Now, when it comes to overtaking, you can definitely feel the benefit of having that electric capacity at what would be a fingertip in terms of your foot, as it's just instantly released. Usually larger SUVs tend to lose a lot between the mid-range in terms of acceleration, but that's the benefit of having a hybrid system. It fills in that gap, and on the C9 you can definitely feel the revs and the engine as well as the acceleration climbing even in the mid-range. The handling of the C9 is the middle ground of the car. It's not trying to be an outright sporty SUV. No, in fact, it's aiming for a lot more comfort, and the easiest way to describe it is, for a large SUV like this, it's surprisingly easy to navigate on the road. I mean, there's not a lot of weight to be thrown around. There's not a lot of much that you can feel. It feels like it's built for a decent drive. Okay, so the steering was the thing that took me a little bit long to learn. Like when I first got the car, it felt very light and feathery, but as I progressed through the week, the C9 kind of felt a lot more confident in the hands. The steering adapts to your driving, and that's honestly a very good thing. Handling goes hand in hand with the suspension, and being Omoda's flagship SUV, the C9 delivers what is a remarkably well, handling car. The suspension is very, very comfortable. It's aimed for that, but it's also dynamic. Now, the biggest contributor to the handling and suspension is Omoda's CDC, or continuous dampening control system, which is obviously a form of adaptive dampening control. It's just fancier words. Now, as you may assume, what it would do is obviously be lighter, softer suspension for lower speeds, and then obviously changes to a bit more stiffer for higher speeds. Of that system is a comfortable, near perfect ride. Now, we've established that the power, the handling, and the suspension are adaptive, but is any of that in your control? The simple answer is yes. You have 5 modes to pick from. That would be Eco, Normal, Sport, Mud, and Snow, as well as 2 electric modes, which is full EV and hybrid. Now, this puts a lot of power into play, or into your hands. So obviously Eco focuses on efficiency, Normal is a little bit more of a balance between comfort and power, whereas Sport is obviously the fun one, giving you the maximum of everything, except for efficiency. Now, that's good and well, but the 2 modes that really sell the C9 are EV and hybrid. So EV prioritizes using battery, whereas hybrid is obviously hybrid. Now, depending on how you drive, these 2 modes really make all of the difference in terms of your fuel economy. Now, let's talk figures. So I've described why hybrids are really good for South Africans. I've also described some of the running costs of the C9, but what does that actually mean for the real world? Now, during my week of testing, I started with a full tank of petrol as well as a fully charged battery. And during all of this, I had a lot of running around, city, testing, all of that. But can you guess what my average consumption was? 7? 9? You'd be surprised to know it was 6. That's honestly low for a large SUV like this, and that's partly thanks to the hybrid system.
But here's the other side to that equation. The C9 also averaged around 9.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which really shows just how much work the electric side of the hybrid system is doing. And honestly, for a large all-wheel drive SUV producing 440 kilowatts, those are seriously impressive figures. Now, economy on the C9 hybrid isn't as cut and dry as a normal combustion vehicle, where how you drive impacts your consumption. Okay, well, yes it is. Sorry, let me explain. As the car focuses on 2 things, battery use and battery charge. You can recoup power from braking, coasting, and even from the engine just idling, feeding it back into the battery to use when needed, either as an assist or full-on driving. So as you drive, and depending a lot on the road factors, you could be driving more efficiently than you think, saving you fuel for the future.
Okay, so what will the C9 SHS set you back? Well, just shy of 1 million rand. And in this economy, that sounds like a lot. But if I'm comparing it to its nearest competitor, this is actually value for money. Whereas the other one, you need to add packages and trims and all of those things. Whereas this is everything all in one. Now, upon that, I think actually having a plug-in hybrid, especially with the petrol being the way it is, you might be saving a lot more in the long run. But what do you think? Is the C9 a yay or a nay for you? Drop your answer in the comment section below, and please remember to like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.